Alrighty, today we're going to, or at least I'm going to try to improve the paint on my car. The paint you're looking at right now is the original factory paint. The car is about 9 years old now, and the car was in an accident. So the whole side of the car, front door, rear quarter panel, and the bumper had to be replaced, completely replaced and repainted. And the body shop did a horrible job. I just want to show you here. This is the original 9-year-old factory paint. This paint is black with a pearl coat, so you're going to see some of those reflections in there. And then as I move to the area where the body shop repaired, you can see how absolutely awful it is. Super hazy. And I haven't figured out yet if it's just the fact that the clear coat has so much orange peel in it, or if there's something actually wrong with the clear coat and that it fogged up when they were painting it. Either way, they didn't do a good job. So I tried to argue with them a little bit, and their response was, well, since you know how to detail, go ahead and polish it out. So that's what I get. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually tape off a section of the door. I'm going to sand it down with I think 2000 grit, go ahead and polish it, and then we'll see the results. So I'm going to put this on a tripod and get the 2000 grit sandpaper and get to work. Okay, so I'm going to use a 3M sanding block with the 3M wet or dry 2000 grit paper, and I have an area here taped off that I'm going to spray down with water and sand in a diagonal pattern. So I'm going to sand in this direction and then in this direction, the whole section, and then I will polish it out. I think I'll just use a dual action with a orange buff and shine pad, and I'm not sure what I'm going to use. I'll probably use Menzerna's Super Intensive Polish, which I think they've renamed since, but nevertheless, if you do search on Google for Super Intensive Polish, you can find out what the new name is. So I'm not going to show all the sanding because it takes a lot of time, but you know, let me spray it down. And this water has a little bit of soap in it for lubrication purposes. So anyway, I'm going to do more of a crosshatch sanding pattern, and you know, for those of you who have wet sanded before, there's really no need to push hard. As with most things, detailing, just go easy, take your time, and after I get done sanding in this direction, I will change directions. And I don't think I'm going to use the sanding block for the whole door. It's just that these are big, flat panel doors. Once I get to the top or around the handle, I will probably take the paper off the block and I'll just use my hand. Okay, I finished sanding the section and now it looks like an absolute mess, which is what it should look like. Now it's extremely hazy, as if you had wet sanded if any of you have wet sanded a car before. That's what it generally looks like. The Menzerna Super Intensive Polish can generally get out this level of sanding, but if not, we'll have to go to something a little more aggressive. And I'm going to start to polish it, and then I'll probably fast forward to the end so you don't get bored out of your mind watching. So again, I just taped it off, sanded with 2000 grit very lightly a couple times in a cross pattern. In the end, I think I went up and down. But I'm not a big fan of priming pads. I just put a few dots on here. Again, this is an older orange, I think, buff and shine pad. And I have a bunch of polishers. You could use a rotary, but if you're new to this, then rotary is probably going to be too harsh, not a good idea. So I'm going to just use a dual action, and it's a Harbor Freight Speed 5. for those of you that haven't done this before, and let's go ahead and see what happens. Alrighty, so for those of you that have done this before or are trying to learn how to do this, there's a couple ways you can do it, right? You can use a microfiber pad if you want to be more aggressive on your polishing step here or your compounding step. You can use a rotary. You can use a more aggressive compound. You can use like Meguiar's M105 or Shine Supply has a compound. You can use HG's compound. Or you can use Fast Gloss 400. You can use any other more aggressive compound. Then you're going to have to do a polishing step after. Okay, I just finished polishing this little section here. Remember, I wet sanded it with the 2000 grit 3M sandpaper using a sanding block. I went ahead and polished it using the Menzerna Super Intensive Polish. I did 2 section passes on that. And I want to actually show you here. So if you look at the cart right there, this area is now super smooth and glassy. And I'm going to move the camera now, and you're going to see the area that it'll go into. There you go. Now you can see the orange peel really well, I think. And again. So that's the procedure I'm going to follow. I'm going to do that for the whole door. I'm going to sand the whole door with 2000 grit, wet, dry. Well, I'm going to make it wet, of course. 3M paper, and I'm going to polish it out. Probably I'm going to have to do 2 passes with the Menzerna SIP Super Intensive Polish. Okay, I just finished sanding the door using the 2000 grit 3M wet dry paper with a 3M sanding block. And this is kind of what you want it to look like when you're done. So it absolutely has no shine to it, which is okay. I was very careful around the edges, because typically the edges of any edge on a car, the paint is fairly thin. And if you recall, this is the 9-year-old factory paint, and this is the body shop job. And I've sanded it to that on the front door. So after I polish out the front door, I'll continue and do the rear door. So I'm going to drop a line of tape down the middle of the door, polish out half of it, and show you what it looks like. I'm probably going to use, let's see, I got it up here somewhere. I think I'm going to use Shy Suppline's Classic Cut. Some good stuff. Shy Suppline's a good company. They make good products. Okay, I polished out half a door, and you can see here, this is the sanded portion. This is the original body shop job, and you can actually see how bumpy that texture is. If you look at the part of the garage there, which is super ripply. That's the orange peel that I'm trying to remove. To recap, 2000 grit wet dry sandpaper. Go ahead and sand the whole door down until it's smooth. And actually you can see here, see this area is very, very smooth. And then you can see these little spots. In that particular case, since I wanted to stay away from the edge, the sandpaper didn't get the clear coat completely flat. But once I polish it out, you won't notice it as much. Okay, I just finished polishing this door after I wet sanded it, and here's the finished product. So you can see clearly the cart over here, and if you look at the molding on the garage door, you can see how smooth it is. And now if I go to the body shop fixed door, you can see how hazy it is. And also if you look along the molding, you can see how rough it is. Not sure if you can see that well. There we go. See that? That's just a horrible paint job. If I go to the area that I repaired, looks like this. So that's the reflection in the door as I got it back from the body shop, and that's the reflection after I wet sanded and polished. So it's pretty straightforward to do. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and I will try to answer them to the best I can. Alright, thank you for watching.